So I have been designing quite a few things lately, some completely custom designs and some modifications of official sets. I've done these videos in the past, so if you're interested, check out all the previous ones on the channel, but today let's look at what I've done recently. In fact, I just finished one this morning by designing this Winter Village pub, which is obviously a modification of the Ollivander's little mini building from the most recent Harry Potter set. And as soon as I saw the old one from the old Diagon Alley set, I was like, yes, got to turn that into a pub. This one's on a smaller scale, so that's more appropriate to Lego City and Lego Winter Village style things. It is open backed, of course, in keeping with the traditional designs, but it's a pub. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I want it to be. And I've added a few white elements to suggest some snowdrops and things. Of course, it is Winter Village themed. Inside does have some interior details, with my little minifigure in there just to give you an idea of what's what, with the bar and the bar pump, the beer tap here. I was very pleased with how that turned out, and as far as I'm aware, everything exists in all these colours I checked. It is possible to be made, and I will probably be adding this to my Winter Village later this year, so that's pretty cool. Got a couple of seats there, a table. Yeah, I think this works in keeping with the style and design of the Winter Village Holiday Main Street sort of small buildings, city style, that sort of thing. I think this should fit in quite nicely. It obviously is an older style building, and the yellow glass for the windows here, that trans yellow, is just really nice. Of course, in this digital format, it doesn't look as translucent as it is in real life, but yeah, this looks quite nicely, and I could get a cool sticker to go in the sign there. I think, yeah, looking at this, I'd say that could be an old British pub, don't you? Yeah, quite happy with how that turned out. Next up, speaking of Winter Village things, there's also this one here, but this one, I haven't really customised it or anything. I've just done a quick recolour of the Santa's Visit set from a few years ago, which traditionally comes in that light blue colour here, but I was thinking, it's okay. I did own that set, but I sold it because there was just something about it that I couldn't quite put my finger on, and whilst it does look nice in the blue, I think it also looks quite nice in dark tan here. Now, I haven't completely checked to make sure all parts exist in this one yet. This is still like a work in progress, but just looking at this, I think dark tan is a good alternative colour. I've seen other people do similar things in the past. Of course, it's still completely, well, open back from a lot of angles here, so I will probably continue working on this and try and enclose it just a little bit more. I don't know if I'll go completely enclosed, but just to cover up some of the more sides, but we're not near Christmas yet. I don't need to work on this. And whilst I was mapping out my Lego City, I realised, I've done some math a little bit wrong here, so I'm left with a little bit of an area, which is 8 studs wide. So I was like, right, I need to come up with a couple 8 stud deep things here, including this Mills road plate piece, which is just so skinny and tiny, isn't it? But it keeps with my Mills road plate standard. And yeah, when the time comes to needing to fill in that gap, I know I've got a digital design that works. And likewise, I did it with just a standard Mills plate 8x32, just in case I need small gaps. But some more modern designs that I've come up with are very basic and honestly look kind of boring at first glance, but this is it. This is the style of modern architecture these days. I was in an area recently where they had buildings just like this. I'm sure you've seen them some too. I've called it modern industrial unit. You know, it could be like a retail unit. Imagine this, and probably white. I've seen it in like more retail parks these days, have buildings that look like this in white, for example, but I like grey. Grey is a boring colour, but it's one of my favourites, both shades here. And using the windows here, typical door frames on their side with some studs on the tile construction. I just really like the shape that it gives to these large windows, and I did it around the back here with these big panels. And luckily, the glass element does come in solid colours, including dark grey and light grey and white amongst some others. So it does give that kind of modern panel design with some cladding and sorts of things. Yeah, I've left the interior empty at the moment. Just figured it could, just be a bog standard retail or industrial unit, and you could customize it for yourself inside. Built on a standard 16x32 Mills plate, as my city is Mills. I don't really have a place of this in my Lego City at the moment, but yeah, it's a cool looking thing, and I kind of like how boring it looks. Obviously, we've got a bit of yellow here. That's just to do with how I kind of secured in these windows on the side using a headlight brick, and I had that stud exposed. So I was like, yeah, that's a security alarm. So yeah, you're protected, don't worry. And similarly, I also saw this one here with the garage built into it. This one, I think, well, in this kind of digital format, the colours sometimes look a bit bolder and harsher than what they are. But I like it, using nougat masonry bricks down the bottom there to add some contrast. And then with the dark tan cladding on the dark grey, I just quite like this. It's clean, it's modern. I've seen things like this in the real world, but just whilst I was messing around with it, I was like, ooh, Yeah, I like this. What other colours could I do this in? And you should have seen this coming, of course, grey. I do like grey, but I thought for the accent colour, olive green masonry bricks. That's just, yeah, something about this. The olive green, the light grey, it works really nicely. Of course, I was kind of limited with the garage elements. There's not too many colours that they come in, but I think the black is neutral enough. It's basic enough that it kind of goes with anything there. Yeah, interior details, empty, of course, but it works. And well, as far as I'm aware, all my buildings have removable roofs, and these ones also have the back wall is easily removable as well, so you can get interior access in there. Yeah, very happy with how it turns out. It's clean, it's simple, but it's modern, and I've seen things just like it. And from original design mocks to modifications of official sets, here's a LEGO Creator 3, one from a few years ago, the toy shop. I've simply enclosed it, built it up a little bit more, given it stair access to that top floor, and of course the roof is still removable, and so is the floors. I haven't really changed the interior details too much, but there is still some empty space in there that I could expand, but this just gives me a good idea. I want to include this set in my LEGO City, and the area that it's going, I do need to have it kind of fully enclosed, and I thought, well, let's give it a staircase. I quite like it, the brown, in keeping with the original design there, so this works quite nicely, and I have a certain spot in my city that I'd like to include it. So I have to keep an eye out for a good price of this set on eBay. Luckily, it's not too expensive on the aftermarket, as it has now retired. But there we go. I don't just do original mocks, I also do modifications of official sets, and this one turned out quite nicely. And if you've been following my LEGO City updates in recent times, you'll know that I am planning to expand the city, and part of that means a new seafront area, and I figured, let's make a pier. As soon as I saw the Harry Potter set, I think it's the Black Lake Triwizard Tournament, with that little pier structure, I was like, yes, that's perfect. So I modified that, changed a few colours, obviously built up the rest of the pier, given it some supports, and yeah, I'm happy with how this has turned out. I feel like the structure looks a little bit short, but I mean, once you compare it to the height of a minifigure, it's still kind of tall. But then compared to the old style lampposts on here, that it just makes it feel a little bit smaller than it is, but then it's not really. So it's pretty basic on here. Haven't had too many details, but there's plenty of space for minifigures to kind of walk up and down the pier. Might put like an ice cream vendor or something, or have a couple people fishing off the sides, but this gives me a nice starting point. Yeah, I quite like this. Another modification of official set here, which I've seen lots of people do in the last few months. This is the Spider-Man versus the Spot set from the Spider-Verse movie. Pretty much taken that original set, made it bigger, given it a top floor, enclosed it. Still has removable floors and removable walls, so it's easy access in there. Got the staircase leading up, a little side door as well. Some more interior details, but there's nothing on the top floor yet. Yeah, I've seen some good rebrickable models of this, especially one by Brick Artisan, but I thought I'll give it a go myself. I'm not too happy with the top floor. I like the idea of the little balcony outside area and the staircase going up, but I don't know, it's just like a big square block on top. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I should change the colour scheme or do some modifications. I did try a couple things with it, and this is the current design that I've ended up with. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes, but I do plan to do this and have it in my LEGO City. And this bakery cafe I have shown off previously, but when I showed it off last time, it was simply just a facade. Now it's a little bit deeper, still not that deep at all, but it sits on a 16x32 base plate with some outside space and things. It does have some interior details, and there is a staircase inside leading up to the top floor, but I still think I might need to do some modifications for it. I changed where this was going to go in my city, so before I just wanted like a front facade, but now there's space for it to be a little bit deeper, so I've done that up. And then on the back here, depending on how it's going to go, I've added these little back doors here. So you could imagine that it's actually two buildings that have been kind of converted into one, and this is residential or back door access around the back. But otherwise, I quite like the colour scheme and the design that I've went from here, the little outside seating area. It's all very nice. And originally this started off as a modification to a LEGO City set. This down lower part area was simply a facade from a LEGO City set called Shopping Street, but as you can see, I've completely taken that and ran with it and made this very nice looking old-fashioned building. Yeah, I'm very happy with how this design turned out. And from one old-fashioned building to another, we have another one which was inspired, or taken apart from a Winter Village set from Holiday Main Street. I think this was the music store, and I've completely changed the colour scheme. Again, you know me, I like the colour grey. I've gone for grey because I just wanted this to look really boring and really serious. I'm not sure, there's no interior details for it yet, but I'm not sure if it's going to be like a solicitor's or an accountant's or a private detective's, just something serious and a bit boring. No offence if you work in those industries, but the area that this is going in my city is surrounded by a bunch of fun things, and I figured, what way to break it up better than something really just meh. Does have removable walls on the back and take off the roof. No details inside yet, as I've said, but I kind of sometimes I'll put interior details in when I'm dead certain of what's going to go where, but otherwise I don't mind not doing it. I'll kind of leave that to myself when I come to building the real thing, and as I do plan to fine-tune these and release instructions for them, I'd kind of leave it down to the whoever is getting this for themselves to kind of have some fun and design their own interior details. But yeah, it looks good, I think. And the biggest one I've built in a while, inspired by the very first thing I digital designed, was a pub, inspired by one from my hometown. And that was quite good. I'd only completed the lower floor of it, and I hadn't finished off the top or anything. But that was when I was just kind of having fun with digital designs, and I didn't care if it could actually be made in actual colour. Like, I was using parts that don't exist in certain colours and things, whereas nowadays I try and do it so I can actually build this if I wanted to, and this can be built. Inspired again by the Holiday Main Street, this time the toy shop. I was just messing around with some colour swaps, and I put two of them together side by side, as you could probably tell from the top windows, which haven't changed very much at all, and same with the downstairs. I was like, this looks cool. And I was messing around with the signage. I was going to make shops and things. I was like, wait a minute, this could be a pub. So yeah, this one, very happy with it. Got outside seating areas, little pub sign there, the little barriers that they put up around the outside seating areas, the hanging baskets, the lights, obviously the big black nameplate here where I've left a 2x4 tile gap in the middle here where I'd borrow the one from the Tudor corner pub set, the old guard didn't slap that in there, so that looked pretty nice. The colour scheme, I'm really happy with it. And then obviously the pub sign hanging on top. There we go. Got the cellar access down the side. Looks like it's just a delivery of a few more kegs of beer. The side door, windows around the back. This does have full interior details. The roof can be removed. The second floor can be removed. Doesn't have any access to the top floor at the moment, and there's no space for a staircase inside. I was thinking about maybe having an external staircase, but depending on where this is going to go in my city, I'm not sure if one will fit. But like a typical British pub, downstairs is the main bar area, and then upstairs would probably be like a big function room, so there might not be too much in there. I have put a second bar up there, probably a couple tables, and downstairs has a dartboard. I wanted to fit a pool table in, so maybe that would go on the top floor, but that'd just be a big empty space for people to hire out for like functions and parties and things. But yeah, inside, let's see if I can zoom in slightly. It does feature a toilet down there. There's a kitchen. The beer pumps, I went through quite a few design iterations for those, but I'm happy with what I've settled on. Yeah, they look quite good, as you can see there, so that's pretty close. It's hard to make something as detailed and as interesting on a smaller scale, but I did it. Got little interiors there. Yeah, so I'm very happy with how this turned out, and this is one that I'm excited to build. I don't know how much it will cost me to do yet. Probably a little bit expensive, but yeah, it took design features from the very first thing I digitally designed and made it more realistic, and I inspired by an official set and things. I really made it my own. But yeah, the color scheme, just everything about it just works for me. Yeah, so I'm very happy. This is probably one of my favorite things I've done in a while. So yeah, it just looks so good, doesn't it? Love it. Here we have kind of a modification mashup of official sets. Obviously, we had that new Lego delivery truck that came out, but I didn't like the front natural truck, the American style. I'm not a fan of those, but I did like the cab truck from the car transporter set that came out. But I don't really need a car transporter, so I was like, I like the truck of one set and I like the trailer of another set. Let's put them together. So I've done a quick recolor of that in yellow here. Might still do some tweaks with the front with the black. I'm not too sure if that works. Or maybe I'll just do the front of the truck in a different colour completely. But yeah, so if I did get that Lego delivery truck, this is what I would do. I'd completely give it a different style. This is more typical of what you'd find in Europe and in the UK and things. It's still a very long truck though, isn't it? That would take up quite a lot of space in my Lego city, but if I ever get around to it, this is what I would do. Something else that I've designed is a little bit different, but I saw someone else do something similar. I was like, oh, that's a very good idea. Recreating food in Lego. So I've gone for like a long burger here, and I've got some fries that are on a big blue tray, which uses a lot of parts, actually. There's probably more parts in that tray than there is in the rest of the set. Got some napkins represented there and a pot of sauce, and I have got ideas of how to make a drink, like a drinks cup to go on there as well, and a little container for these fries to go in, so that was going to be tipped out on the tray there. But yeah, I think the burger looks a little bit flat. I would like to make it a little bit bigger, but, you know, you've got the burger bun in there, the cheese, lettuce, tomato, pickle, and sauce. Yeah, so it's okay. It's like almost like a sub sandwich of some sort, but it's my first time kind of building food in Lego, but I was very happy with how that turned out. And yeah, I've got plans for this one. I would like to build this one, but yeah, building the tray was an idea, and I liked how it turned out. It looks like a tray, of course, but yeah, a lot of parts in dark blue, which is still a slightly uncommon, slightly expensive part. I mean, look how many 2x2 dark blue tiles are used in there. That's a lot, but it looked good. So yeah, very happy with how that one turned out. And it's been a while since I've designed any custom trains, but I have done plenty in the past, so check out the separate videos all about those. This one is inspired by the character Stepney from Thomas and Friends. That style of little tank engine, obviously the wheels are the wrong wheels, but this is kind of in keeping with that style of tank engine that I've already done using official Lego train wheels, because Lego don't make enough train wheels in the right sizes. So yes, I know they're the wrong size, but it's a work in progress. This is my first attempt. It's similar enough and different enough to my other tank engines. I like the colour scheme. Yeah, this works. Looking at it, I can see, oh yeah, I know what that's trying to be. So yeah, it's a nice little one. But yeah, if Lego made different sized train wheels, I would definitely change them out and probably make more accurate looking trains. But it's close enough, isn't it? Obviously, it's not powered. It's not designed to be motorized. But if I wanted to motorize this, I'd probably just put the power in whatever rolling stock it's carrying around or something. But you know, it's a Lego train. Yeah, pretty cool. And last but not least, I can't remember if I've shown this off previously or not, but we have some everyday objects. I was like, oh, well, this could be a fun little building challenge. So we've got a flathead screwdriver, a crosshead screwdriver, a little craft knife, a pen, pencil, and some post-it notes, and a little tray there. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to building this one, hopefully soon. And then if I ever get to go to a little Lego convention or something, I've got some nice original mocks to display. People have done this sort of thing before, but this is my take on it, and I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. Yeah, probably slightly smaller than real life scale. Perhaps the pencil might be alright, but the screwdrivers, maybe they're a little bit small. I don't know, but yeah, looking at this, you know exactly what they're trying to be, and I'm pretty happy with how they turned out, using some interesting parts there. Yeah, pretty cool. If you have any ideas of what other everyday objects I could make, tell me in the comments, because I'm always looking for new ideas. And that's pretty much it for new things, but of course I have made several videos on all the custom projects that I've worked on already, so do check those out if you're interested. And if you want to, check out my profile on Mecabricks. This is where I design them. As you can see at the time of recording, I published 128 models. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Mecabricks is a free browser-based alternative, which works also on Chromebooks and iPads as well as Windows if you're interested. Unfortunately, I can't use Bricklink Studio because, well, I use an iPad and a Chromebook, and you can't get Bricklink Studio on those, so I've had to use this. It almost has every Lego piece that you need. Of course, there are some exceptions. It doesn't have everything, but it's good enough. It's the best Bricklink Studio alternative that I've found, and it's free to use. Not a sponsor or anything, but I highly recommend it. It's worked for me. But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this closer look at some of my custom designs. Tell me which one of them is your favourites in the comments below, and do check out more of my work if you are interested. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time for another Lego video. Bye for now. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel, or on one of my other channels as well. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends.